Two truths and a lie, but with math. Can you spot the fake? First fact, shine a laser inside a rectangular box whose walls are mirrors. The laser will always eventually return to the exact spot where you fired it, no matter how you angle or position the laser. Second fact, flip a coin until you get two heads in a row. Now take another coin and flip it until you get heads followed by tails. On average, getting heads will take longer than getting heads tails, which is unexpected because they have the same chance of happening. Third fact, take a 3 by 3 grid, then connect the dots like this. Interestingly, these 5 regions all have the same area, which is strange because there's no fivefold symmetry here. Pause now to think about which fact is fake. The second fact is true. Let's say you're aiming for heads tails and you just flipped heads. If you then get tails, you're done, but if you don't, you immediately have another chance to. Compare this to heads. If you just flipped heads, but you fail to get another, you can't immediately try again. You have to wait for another heads. So heads tails is easier to get. But aren't they both a 1 in 4 chance, so they should show up equally often? They in fact do, but notice that heads tend to show up in chunks. This is because it's possible to have them right next to each other. You can't do this with heads tails, so they're more spaced apart, making them easier to run into. The first fact is fake. The key is irrational numbers. Here's an example with a 1 by pi rectangle. After bouncing on the top wall, the laser's y value gets contaminated with pi, so it'll never return to its original corner with a y value of 0. The third fact is true. The 5 comes from the Pythagorean theorem, and if the side lengths have 5 in them, then so will the areas.